Okay, we're back on the Bronco's exhaust again, and right now we're working on getting the headers pointed the right direction, the header outlets pointed the right direction. So he's marking, and I'm gonna go at it with an angle grinder and then a hacksaw because there's not enough room on this side. And then once we get those pointed the right way, we'll work on the rest of the exhaust. We're actually almost there. It's just that we left the hard part for the last. Okay, I just wanted to explain a little bit of what happened to the Bronco's frame. Just briefly, simply, oversimplified if you would. Just so you can kind of understand what's going on here. So, frames are made out of channel iron like this. It's a piece of steel that is shaped like this when viewed from the front or the back. And normally they'll have a couple of bends in it along the ways, but basically this is the basic shape. And this C shape, this channel iron shape, is what gives this thing its strength because it's got two angles here to help it hold its shape really well. And so normally this isn't a problem with having a vehicle crack the frame. Normally that only happens under extreme stress. But with these Ford Broncos and F-250s that they had like in the 80s and the 90s, they had this enormous torque arm right here. So you can see I've got my frame right here, and then I've got my leaf spring, and I've got my shocks and my axle right there. This is all oversimplified, of course. And I've got this lower control arm right here. This is all, none of this is to scale or accurate at all. It's just basically just to give you an idea. And then you've also got this plate right here, this bracket for it. And then you get an adjusting thing so you can adjust your caster. I think that's what it is. It's one of the alignment specs. It's either camber or caster. I can never keep them straight. But anyway, Ford put this enormous torque arm, lower control arm, on these Broncos and F-150s. And because it was so big, it would lever against the frame right here and cause a crack somewhere around this area, right here around the bracket. Sorry, I keep moving the camera. And so what happened to this one is it cracked right here, right around the bolt, right there. And so what we had to do was we had to go back to this channel iron shape. So this thing also has a bracket on it right here, and that sticks down a little ways and holds this control arm right there. So we have this crack right here going from about here to here, and then there's a bolt going through with the little adjuster plate right there. So what we did is we had to move all the fuel lines and stuff that were going through this area, and all the brake lines and stuff. We moved those out of the way. So we got rid of those. And then we took out the bolt right here, and we made a plate of metal that would fit right there very well. And then we upgraded, we drilled a bigger hole through this, and then we put a bigger bolt through it. And then I took an impact gun and I tightened that sucker as tight as it would go. And in doing so, we straightened the frame and pulled that crack together so that way it was fixed to get this thing back to being street legal, because you can't have a crack in your frame and be street legal. It's just not safe. So we fixed that. It's already been done on the passenger side. We had to do it on the driver's side. But that's kind of what we were doing. That's basically what it is. So that lower control arm just on those older Fords has this habit of pushing up against the frame and making a crack there. It happened to my dad's 95 Bronco. It's happened to just about every single one that I've heard of. So yeah, it's just that lower control arm just pushes up against that bracket with so much force that it cracks it. So we had to fix it, but luckily it's a fairly easy fix. So there you go. Now you understand. Okay, he's just measuring that frame plate just to make sure it's gonna fit. Actually, no, he's double checking the pipe real quick for me. But yeah, tackling two things at once because he wants his welder back. And I can't blame him.
Need the with this pipe on here, I'd say we need to open that mouth of that pie cut up a little bit more with the grinder first.
Yeah.
And then start cutting what you can't reach with the grinder with that hacksaw.
Yeah.
Cut it back into the other side so we can get it to bend a little bit more, but I think you're really close.
Yep, I'm getting there.
Yeah. So I got this pipe slid on there pretty good ways, so it's holding tension on it, so it'll hold that pipe. So you just need to cut next to your front piece of the pipe. Just cut right next to it with the grinder. And that'll give you all the opening you need.
Perfect.
Okay.
Getting the passenger side pipe all set up. He's got some tacks and some welds that he's doing to make some bends. Not too bad. He's a little bit more professional than me and Cameron were.
So what we're doing is doing our redneck pipe bender. Since we don't have a real pipe bender, we've been making pie cuts out of the pipe and then getting the angle we want and then welding the gap shut to make our angles and bends where we need to fit around the cross members. So we're all done now, except for we have to stick this piece in place and weld it to the muffler on one end. And then on the other end where the headers connect, we had to make relief cuts on the headers and angle them straight back because one of them was, you see the driver's side was pointed.
The driver's side was pointed outward and down.
And the passenger side was pointed outward and slightly up. So we've got them pointed straight back where we want it. So he's got to weld in those relief cuts now after we put this in place. And then I guess hangers.
Yeah, hangers should be pretty easy though.
Do hangers for the muffler and the exhaust pipe, and we should be good.
We're good to start it up because right now it's just absurdly loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the exhaust goes straight into the cap.
And then we have the frame reinforcement that we need to bolt in. It's all made and drilled in the machine, so it's ready to go in. Just need to bolt in, tighten it up, and then tack weld it a couple places, and we should be good.
Good.
Cool. Weld it to the muffler. Alright, here's our predicament. We think we've got a solution though, because he's got to weld that last bit on that
Oh, I see it.
header.
I can
And
see
there
it.
we go. But we've got a mirror behind there. Right there you can see, so he can see what he's doing. The things we have to do. He's got this though.